Hello, baseball fans. Well, we're here. It is Division Series time. I do love the Division Series, mainly because I am old enough to remember when the Division Series was the first round of the postseason. Of course, that's what it was when it started in 1995. But of course, in 2012, they added the wild card game, and now we have the wild card series, which has been around since 2022. So the Division Series is actually now the second round of baseball's postseason, and it's a best of five format, always has been, and I love that. I love the Division Series because, like I said, it's two series in each league, and the winners play for the pennant. It's a big deal to win the right to play for that pennant. All it takes is 3 short wins to get there, just like it takes 2 wins the wild card series if you have to play it to get to this point. But yeah, so. It's going to be absolutely amazing in this year's Division Series. It's going to be very explosive. Here are the 4 series taking place this year. Oh, baby. This is going to be good. Yankees and Royals. This is the first time this is happening in my lifetime, because the Royals and the Yankees were actually going against each other a lot during the tail end of the 70s. Back when it was just 2 divisions per league, and back then the Yankees ruled the East, and the Kansas City Royals took over the West after the A's dynasty ended. But the 2 teams met, I think, was it three straight years in the 70s in the ALCS, but the Yankees won every time. The Royals finally got the best of the Bronx Bombers in 1980. That's the last time the 2 teams have faced each other in the postseason. But of course, 44 years, names change, obviously. Instead of Thurman Munson, God rest his soul, we have Aaron Judge. Instead of George Brett, we have Bobby Witt Jr. You know, it's going to be an interesting series, especially since, people try to put Bobby Witt Jr. in the MVP category, and I don't think he should be there. I still think the MVP race should be Judge and Soto. It's an all-Yankee race, let's face it. But it's really going to be an interesting division series between these 2. It's the only one that doesn't feature division rivals, but it's going to be very, very heated. I just know it. And of course, here we have the Guardians and the Tigers, a battle between AL Central foes. I'm trying to remember. I don't think we've ever seen since 2012, when the division rivals could actually compete against each other in the division series. I don't think we've seen Central Division foes go at it in the best of 5. I don't think we have. But we got Cleveland and Detroit. And they've never faced each other in the postseason. They've been around. Both teams have been around for over 100 years. Serving as 2 of the original American League franchises in the modern era. But yeah, because we all know Detroit's story. They're on this big high. Okay. They were out of it. They were out of it a month ago, and all of a sudden they snag a spot by winning games left and right, and they just beat Houston. Thank you, Tigers. They just beat Houston out. Now they got to face Cleveland. They're kind of on a mission, because I think the sentiment there is this is the year for the Guardians, and it should be interesting to see how Cleveland does if they move one step closer to finally getting over that hump. It's been 3/4 of a century since that team's won the World Series. So we'll see how that goes. Oh, the Dodgers. It's always an interesting story when it comes to the Dodgers. After all, they're the team with loads of pressure. I would say even more so than the Yankees, because, the Dodgers have been spending a lot of money over the last few years. Plus, think about it. Ever since this run really started once Dave Roberts became the manager. So we're talking 9 years. Ever since this run started, it's seen them in the World Series 3 times. Now, 2017 we can't hold against them because we all know how Houston won that series. The same kind of could be said for Boston 2018, but the Dodgers really should have won it. Their only saving grace is 2020. Problem is, you know how people are. It was a shortened year. Nobody takes those seriously, and And it wasn't just any lockout season; it was the COVID affected season, and people see any championships. People see any championships won in COVID affected years as not being real. I don't feel that way. A championship is a championship, but people see championships won during COVID affected seasons as being fake, not real. It wouldn't happen in a full year, which is immensely disrespectful. But unfortunately, the last like 3 seasons with the Dodgers, it's getting close to more and more people spouting that. Dodgers need it's World Series of bust. It's been that way for longer than that. But even though they got it, it's still World Series of bust because they want to silence the people who have been side-eyeing that 2020 championship. That's why they spent about 5 or 6 brink trucks on Shohei Ohtani. And all Show did was become the first 50-50 man. That's all. So we'll see what happens with the Dodgers. But I know this much. If they fizzle out the division series again against the Padres, oh boy. That's all I got to say. Whew. Well, the 6th seed strikes again in the National League. I don't know what it is with that spot. It's a sweet spot now. This is the 3rd year that this format has become a staple, and we've seen it. The 6th seed, the National League, wins pennants. It was the Phillies. It was the Phillies 2 years ago. It was the Diamondbacks last year. Now the Mets have that spot already. They knocked out Milwaukee. We all saw how that happened. In that dramatic fashion. And now they're up against the 2nd-seeded Phillies. That's going to be interesting. It's always fun when Philly and New York get together, especially when it counts the most. But, yeah, you got Pete Alonso versus Bryce Harper. Both are looking to win their first one. Bryce has been there. Pete Alonso hasn't. And, of course, all the talk is, well, this could be Pete Alonso's final year with the Mets. He could be off somewhere else. So we'll see what happens with the Mets. But it's going to be a very interesting series between these two NL East rivals. And with that, I'll make my predictions. I think I did pretty well at the wildcard series. I didn't pick the wildcard series on video, but I think the Atlanta series is the only one I got wrong. But I did have Detroit and Kansas City win their series, and I had the Mets beat the Brewers because the Brewers, you can't depend on them in October. But I really thought the Braves were going to beat San Diego, and that didn't happen. So as far as the division series, I'll say Yankees in 4, Cleveland in 4, Dodgers in 4, and Mets in 4. I think the Mets pull it off. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if the Mets just knock off the Phillies. I mean, they're on a roll. Plus, like I said, they got the sweet spot in the National League. That 6th spot. It's a magical number. So that is my preview of the division series. If you like this video, click the like button. If you're on YouTube, click subscribe if you want more. If you're on TikTok, feel free to hit that follow button. My story, preview of the division series will be featured. Check it out when you can, and I'll be back to recap the series and get you ready for the league championship series. So it'll be, so that's the next time I talk baseball in about a week, maybe less. As far as another sports video, I will recap week 5 of the NFL season in a few days. So all I have to say is enjoy the division series. I know I will. And stay tuned.